welcome to episode 7 of the If You Know, You Know podcast, and introducing the man who is standing shoulder to shoulder with Quizmaster greats Jack Curtis and Luke is Mike Price. Great to be here. Thank you. Thank you, Mike. And joining me today is the man who has been referred to as the most charming man. Well, it's clearly working out for him this season. Lay all your love on him. It's Lenny Greenfield.
Thanks for that.
Thanks for joining me, Lenny. Oh, and also we might have a special guest, but they will be late, so we'll be bring them in as soon as they can be here. So, Lenny, yeah, a quick update for the fans. How's your week been?
Oh, fantastic! Yeah.
Yeah.
I just spent a lot of time in the library, so yeah. Also, my flatmate that I hate is moving out, so
Oh,
a great week.
that's a big win.
I think he's supposedly meant to be moving out today, so
Right.
he's not gone yet. But
Okay.
yeah, well, I've got to the point this year where I keep almost everything I own in my room. Uh, my toaster stays in the room at this point.
Wow.
It's a real depressing situation.
Do you have a kettle in there as well?
I don't own a kettle. If
Okay.
I did, it'd be in my fucking room though, I'll tell you that.
What a shame you don't have a widge or something. Then you could have your own little mini fridge in there, and then you barely need to go into the kitchen.
Yeah, maybe that's why TG Robbo did it. I still don't understand why he bought a fridge.
Lenny, well, first of all, I'm injured again, so that's bad news.
Yeah.
But clearly worth it for this baby. Come on.
I could see you were wary. I just didn't want to blow up your plans.
Thank you.
But was it fun?
It was, yeah, it was reasonably fun.
What was the inflatable to running ratio?
It was actually way better than I was expecting. I thought there would be very few inflatables, but there were quite a lot. And because it was like it's a wide lane, so there's not a lot of grass to work with. I'd be really surprised if it was 5K. It felt like maybe 2 or 3K, but we kind of did the same circuit a couple like twice. So
What, just like a full lap of wide lane?
yeah, but it's sort of like we're like in the field, like just as you go in, but to the right. So we're just sort of
Yeah.
in that, just going like up and
Oh,
down.
yeah.
um, which was all right. Like I think if I'd have gone off on my own, I would have had a bit of a shit time because it would have been just me and a load of random people, including some little kids, which would have been fun to throw around the inflatables, but not as exciting as your mates. So my boy Ian was there, and
Yeah.
he and I were we were mixing up in the inflatables. Like the second we got inside, it was just an all-out brawl on each time, and yeah, that was a lot of fun. Unfortunately, yeah, I took like 2 steps and then like something went in my knee. I think it's an injury that I'd already had, so I was just sort of like
Hobbling.
yeah, hobbling around the whole thing, which gave me a bit of a disadvantage in these fights against Ian every time. But I got a couple over on him every now and then, so yeah, it was good fun. But yeah, obviously I'll be treasuring this.
Have you taken it off? Oh, is that the first time you've taken it off?
Yeah, yeah, first time. Yeah, I'll be keeping it on my person at all times.
Oh yeah, did you win Bristol Hat this year?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I don't know where the medal is for that.
I've got my medal somewhere in my room, I think. I'll wear it next week.
Yeah, oh man, yeah, Bristol Hat was great fun. Mate, I'll tell you, I'm such a bastard. We got into the final and we were up by like 3, and I I called the timeout to run down the clock in a hat tournament final.
That is criminal. That is criminal.
Oh God. That's the thing, like it was just flashing through my mind. Like I've been in this situation where like if I'd had called the timeout, then we would have won. This was when this was during one of those like regionals where like I was injured, so I wasn't playing. I think that was when
Uni 2019, I think.
yeah, I don't know if Noel was on my team.
I think Noel was on your team.
Was Noel on my team that year?
Yeah, because it would have been my first year. So you would have had
Oh yeah, of
like
course, 'cause he was the reason that I tore my hamstring in the first
yeah,
place. Yeah,
exactly.
yes,
So you would
yeah,
have had like Noel, Ramu, Jay Murphy,
yeah, definitely had Jay
Amos.
Murphy. I had Amos as well. Yeah, all right, a good group. I think Rob Henry as well. Um, but yeah, okay. So I had a team of players, including Noel Clark, and we were in like the 9-10 final. And I think we basically like we were up, and had I called a timeout, we would have run out enough time to win it. So then I called my team over and I was just like, do you want me to call a timeout? Because obviously I'm not playing. If you just want to play it, it doesn't matter too much. I'm happy for you guys to play it out. And they're just like, no, we want to play it out. Then they played it out and then they lost. So that was going through my head. And obviously there were no stakes at all there. But and arguably also no stakes at all in this hat tournament final. But I was just like, at this point, I just want to win. Also, there's been one guy who plays for UE, and I've knocked him out in every single tournament I've played against him all year, and he was in the final against my team, so I
Uh,
beat him again. It felt good to beat him for like, the third or fourth time, and to beat him in a way that knocked him out again in a crucial game at a tournament. All right, Lenny, there's a couple of references that have been cropping up fairly frequently in these episodes. Um, I just thought it might be a good idea before our special guest arrives to discuss them. So
yeah, yeah,
every now and then you might notice that characters such as Sock or Noel, you've probably said it from time to time. Will Jeffrey was definitely yelling it at Divya in one of the challenges. Phrases such as "work hard" have been thrown about. Could you shed a bit more light onto why they've kind of entered our lexicon?
um, well, as a team in the year running up to that event, we had a fantastic coach who preached working hard, to the point he'd work hard in all the disciplines of his life, which included putting in an absolute shift to get a booking at Pizza Express for 40 people. Um,
Yeah, so all right, so the work hard story. I think this was were you at this nationals or were you not at this one? This was an outdoor nationals. I think it was the year that Andy captained.
yeah, yeah, oh yeah, that was the I was there, but I wasn't playing.
Okay, so all right, so you were at that one, and that was the one where I think
I
yeah,
forgot, genuinely forgot about this as
yeah. So
well.
this is where it came from. So Liam, who you'll all know and love as one of the cameramen, particularly a bit more prominent in season one, a bit louder behind the camera. Very iconic laugh that you might recall. So Liam was trying to hype us up. Okay, I think we'd already been like mathematically eliminated, but we were still sort of in the fight for like fifth place at outdoor nationals a
I
few
think
years
it was
ago.
the 7-8.
I think yeah, this is where he first implemented it, and he comes onto the pitch. And I think it was during quite a high moment. I think maybe okay, I wasn't injured by this point. I probably was by the end of the game. But he comes onto the line. He's trying to really hype us up, and he goes and he just yells really passionately, "I work hard for you. What do you do for me?" And then the rest of us kind of like work hard. And I felt as though all right, I wasn't the target audience for this because I'd been playing like 6 years by this point. I didn't need to be hyped up. I think it was more for some of the freshers. But when you've got pricks like me and Dolan stood there, just like, what is he talking about? It didn't go down particularly well, but it was. We just found it so funny that we would shout it in just most scenarios, and I think work hard definitely came from that.
Yeah, work hard and then putting in a shift is the
Yeah,
other one.
didn't
That
so
I assume comes up a lot in Survivor as well.
yeah, so put in an absolute shift. So can you define what an absolute shift is, Lenny? Just for
Absolute
our...
shift. Well, I think the only thing that is an absolute shift is getting that Pizza Express booking for 40 people. Um, that's you know as good as it gets in terms of shifts.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think stemming from that, it was well, it was a Facebook post from Beth about Liam putting in a absolute shift to get
Former
to
Survivor winner, Beth.
yeah to get a booking at Pizza Express. I think everyone just it really just took hold of us, and we just I mean it probably lasted like 8 9 months of us saying it. It never really got old. So
Yeah, I think like you can put in a shift. Like putting in a shift would be like beating Oscar at that tug of war challenge. I think that's putting in a shift. I think the only thing that is defined as an absolute shift is securing that Pizza Express booking. So that's just that's why those phrases are bandied about a lot. Um, the trivia for this week's immunity challenge, we refer to several different frisbee throws. Now I don't know if you have a disc on hand, but
I think I do actually.
oh,
Hold on. It's my Aganello disc from this
oh,
year.
very nice. Got my skunks one.
Lovely.
Okay, all right. In that case, can you please demonstrate? Can you demonstrate a push pass for me? So this was obviously one of the answers in the quiz. So I think
You
it was
just
just a bit of fun for the uninitiated. We'll just
you
demonstrate what
hold
those
it
throws are.
sort of in a backhand grip, but you've got your finger on the side, and then you sort of you just sort of push it with your finger like that.
All right, so that's a push pass. All right, how about a hammer?
Hammer, you're up here, bang, bang. That's textbook right that like that.
Textbook hammer, and it sort of flies do through the air and lands upside down.
Yeah. Ideally, you catch it like that.
Okay, perfect. Then we've got a blade, Lenny, a blade.
Similar to the hammer, but just straight, just straight. None of this. Just bang.
And you throw it like that, and then they catch it like that.
Yeah.
Then
Well,
we've got
catch it one-handed,
yeah,
but
obviously
don't catch it
one-handed.
like that.
And then the next one then is a spade.
Yeah. Spade. It's quite hard to show. You sort of I describe it. This is gonna be great for if anyone who's listening to this as an audio.
Yeah. As in like a sort of an underarm throw.
Yeah, yeah, an
And
underarm throw.
and
But
it
the
just
way it
flies in a really
flies,
janky way. You can get no distance on it at all, apart from Max, who can.
but I'd say even if it flies in quite a beautiful way at the same time, would you not say?
Yeah, sort of like a butterfly or like it sort of glides. Yeah.
Yeah. If you haven't thrown a spade, next time you're on the pitch, give it a go.
Yeah, I'd encourage you to get out and do so, definitely. Especially if you're going to throw it between someone's legs. That's immaculate. Next up, Lenny, we have an IO. This is what the one that Big Dog struggled to realise.
Uh, Inside out.
Yeah, so IO
Yeah, it's
standing for
like that,
inside
isn't it?
out.
Yeah, just flies like this. The name makes it quite easy to understand.
Okay, so the next one we have a flip. Flick.
Bog standard, bang. Everyone's favourite bop it move.
Yeah. Can you give us the flick noise, Lenny, from the Bop It?
I've never actually played bop it.
Wow, would you have known that it was flick? Would you have got that?
Absolutely not.
Wow, okay. There's the classic. Oh, come on, you got to know this. So obviously you got Bop It, which is like bang. Then you got Spin It, which is like. Then you got Pull It, which is. Twist It is. And Flick It is.
No, I've never even maybe an outrageous claim. I don't think I've ever seen a bop it.
Wow. That's upsetting. And if I can be bothered, I'll put a picture of a Bop It over the top of this.
Great episode for the audio listeners.
All right, so next up, we've got a scuba.
Like
All right, so it's basically the same as
that.
a hammer, but you throw it at a less of an angle. It's a more acute angle, I would say. And then
And
it
more
just
in front of your face as well. Like your arms.
right, okay. And it doesn't go quite as far as a hammer.
Well, it could do.
Yeah, I guess so. Next up, Lenny, we have a chicken wing.
It's like ugh. Oh, you can't see it. Hold on. Like that. Something like that. I'm not
Yeah,
really
you're
good at
kind
it.
of throwing it like over your shoulder, and it's like your thumb underneath.
Yeah. Sam Sorensen could do them quite well, from what I
Shout out
remember.
to Jamie Reed as well. He's particularly good at those. Lenny, we've got a roll. What's a roll or a roll curve?
Opposite of IO. A lot of people call the roll the OI.
Mm,
You just sort of throw it like that. It goes away from you, comes back in. You know, it's like if you hit it with your inside of your foot in football, curls back in.
classic. All right, then we've got Lenny. I'm this is the one that I'm least sure of. A sea biscuit.
Sea biscuit is like you hold it like this,
Yeah.
and then you put it onto your backhand side.
Right, it's a
Just
similar
sort of
sort of hand position for a chicken wing.
yeah, yeah. It's like a chicken wing on the other side,
Right,
and
okay.
then
So that's a sea biscuit. Then we've got a high release, which is, classic. You just throw the disc from
release it high.
higher.
And
And then the last one is, an elevator pass.
Well, you just you throw it up and it comes straight back down.
Yeah, you want a lot of
Quite
spin on
lovely.
this one. Just
Yeah,
straight up and then it comes down.
quite a lovely throw. Were you proud of the question you came up about the chicken wing?
Oh yeah, I thought I thought it was great.
No, I thought it was very funny, and obviously it gave our team the correct answer at the time, so I loved it even more.
Yeah, the way those questions fell in a lot of cases were just absolutely perfect, especially because Big Dog had said chicken wing shortly before. But like, there's a few throws with very strange names. It would have been hard to. I'm not sure I could have thought of any other question that would have brought you chicken wing.
No, that is a
Like, I
tough
think that
one.
one is just like, do you know what? It's going to come up. I may as well make it as obvious as possible.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I liked it, especially because it benefited our team.
So the other half of the quiz, Lenny. So this kind of goes back to some of our quiz and curry days in Southampton.
Fantastic
Um,
dance.
Great times. Several of us would turn up to this. I would say you could argue the heyday was the dream team, the seven OGs. So it was what the two of us, Big Dog, Oscar, Noel, Isaac, and Will. That was
Yeah,
that was the seven right there.
a fantastic group, and it obviously was the heyday. It clearly hasn't been as good since or before.
Well, I mean, we've had a few wins since. We've
Yeah,
had a
but
fair few this
it doesn't matter though, does it? You know it wasn't as good.
year. Hey, I'd still bark every week. Um,
But you lost the me and Oscar. Irreplaceable. It all fell apart when you lost us.
Yeah, I mean, re really, it was just myself and Big Dog as the remaining OGs on the team. But we picked up a couple of great new skunks freshers, which was very helpful because we just happened to pick up some of the best quizzes on campus. So very fortunate for us. But some of the iconic quiz answers were referred to during this immunity challenge. The first one that came at Isaac's 28 times 3 fuck up was it was one of those ones, and all of these quiz questions, like you only have like 10 seconds to answer, so they're all like high pressure against the clock. One week they were just like, what's 28 times 3? I was the one that was doing the buttons most of the time. So in my head, I was just like 74, typed it in, submitted it, and everyone gave me so much shit for getting it wrong that I felt fully vindicated when Isaac also got it wrong.
What was Isaac doing though? Why would you like just give it a little bit of thought?
Ugh.
A
And yeah,
little
I
tiny.
should have been more clear on when you say final answer and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, no, we definitely. You should not have accepted that. I can't believe we got away with that by me just saying he didn't say final answer, even though no one had done that up until that point of the quiz.
Yeah, but there hadn't been a situation because I was just like, okay, this is so obviously wrong. And like, if he were to, if he was like writing it down, he would obviously think about it. So it felt mean taking it off him straight away. And then, yeah, in the end, I was just like, all right, well, I'm definitely not making Merak lose a life for this because he's just been wrong. But
Yeah.
yeah, I should have made it clearer that only your first answer counts or something like
If that
that.
was me though, can you imagine how much I would have been moaning after if I was on the blue tribe after that?
Well, so it ended up having no impact at all. So yeah, it didn't matter too much. The safety dance question, Lenny, do you remember that one?
I do. I got the right answer even watching it back now. Uh,
There you go.
won us the fucking quiz. Maybe your best moment.
Yeah, thank you. I think one of the few situations where just the fact that I was considerably older than everyone truly paid off. Um, yeah, no one else had a clue what that song was. It was basically the question that we'd asked Noel. It was in a Glee wooden spoon round, and we had to identify the song, the blank dance. And obviously, none of us had seen Glee, so it was just completely random. But I did know that the safety dance was a song, and that happened to win us the quiz that week, defeating Jack Curtis's Christina Aguilera on the final question. The Drosophila melanogaster, that wasn't a quiz related question, but that's just because that's what my thesis was on. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I like that question because it does make me look like I'm quite clever, but in fact, the smallest amount of my price knowledge would lead you to fruit fly almost straight away.
Especially because like some of the others were just like, nah. So it made you look smart. I think your
Yeah.
best moment though was definitely Seabiscuit.
Oh yeah, yeah,
I think that might have been the one question that if I was doing the quiz, I wouldn't have probably got that one.
yeah.
Um,
I reckon there'd be a few people in that line that wouldn't have got that.
the next question, Lenny, however, was the opposite of the safety answer one for me. This is the Seven Dwarfs one. This is where I cost us the win.
That, that quiz was so funny. The way that was was that the Disney final round?
Yeah.
Or yeah, that was just
Also, shout out to Will
unbelievable.
Jeffrey, who is incredible at Disney knowledge. Like that was always his specialty.
Yeah, and we still choked that round. But that was in the semester one of last year where every week we bottle it
Hmm.
in the final two rounds.
And
To
like
the
at the
point
time, it
where
didn't like it felt like it didn't matter. But then it wasn't until like after the quiz finished that it's just like if we'd have got that, we actually would have won this week. So
yeah,
I was devastated, and it was basically exactly the question that I put to Holly, and we had, but obviously like it's time pressure and you get bonus points for speed and stuff. So I was obviously like really ready
yeah.
to go, and I think it was when they said happy for which of these isn't a dwarf, and I just spammed it, and yeah, I cost us the quiz in that moment. Um, the Leroy question is from significantly before I imagine most of the players joined. I think maybe even before Noel came to do the quiz. It was myself, Mark, and Ollie from season one.
Mhm.
We were definitely there that week, and I think former skunk Joe. It was the four of us that week, and we were asked to identify Samuel L. Jackson's middle name, and this was like paper, so I think we were just guessing anyway. And I just randomly guessed Leroy, and it happened to be right, and we were very hyped. The next one is the old elephant badger question, Lenny.
That was Sock that joined us one week, and honestly was just so fantastic to watch. The way he just pissed Mike off over the course of a quiz would just shout something out straight away, even if he had no idea the answer. Um,
It's so
but
frustrating because normally on because our team is named, we're usually the big dogs or like big dog and whatever. So on the big dog team, usually, so I'm the one on the buttons, but we have kind of an agreement that doesn't. I would say it's unspoken because it doesn't really need to be said. That if someone immediately shouts an answer, I will just click it because I will assume that they know what they're talking about. But as soon as Sock showed up, he was just shouting whatever came into his head first, regardless how ridiculous it was. So after the first couple, where I just gone out of instinct and then we'd been wrong, I basically just tuned him out for the rest of the quiz.
I will say he did clutch up on one of the questions in the final round, arguably winning us the quiz. So
Also,
yeah,
completely just another guess. It was like, what year was this film released or something? It was a one in six, and he
you
picked
got it
one.
right. It was clutch.
He picked one of them, and at that point, I was just like, well, in that case, should I pick any option but that? But then no one else knew it, so I was just like, fine, we went with it. And then he happened to be right, and we ended
He's,
up winning that
you
one.
can't prove that he didn't know that.
But this particular question, it was the wooden spoon round that week was on bones, and they said which animal has the strongest bones, and this wasn't even multiple choice. It was just pick the first letter of the animal that has the strongest bones. So I was just like, all right, let's have a think, guys. Right? Well, I mean, the largest animals is an elephant. So it's probably, and then before I could even speak, Stock's just like badger, badger, like it's definitely badger. Like they're fucking like brick shit houses. They're like a badger is so dense. And then we were just like, what? And by this point, I was like, I'm just going to put elephant, which we did. And then they're like, and the answer is of course elephants. Yeah, not quite what Sock thought. And then the final question, Lenny, the in the club question.
Oh yeah, perfect. Oh, I'll tell you what. I was in Tesco the other day,
Mm.
and they had like it was like a more genuinely like a sort of poppy acoustic version of In the Club,
Ooh,
where they were like they changed the lyrics slightly. So I barely recognized it at first, and then I was like,
what was
"Oh
it
no,
like? You
it's
can find me in the pub, like.
no, it's Find Me in the Club," but they were like singing it. Um, in like I don't know. It's hard to even explain just how strange it was.
Right.
But I mean, the original song is strange enough, but I think someone singing it to quite like I'd say a flowery tune, if I had to describe it.
Was it like the toned down, like non-explicit kids version of a pop song? Because they often do that.
But it was like nothing like the 50 Cent version.
Right, okay.
Wasn't similar. It was just had the same lyrics. But yeah, I think any self-respecting person would know all the lyrics to. in the club by 50 Cent.
Yeah. Do you want to smash out a couple of them now for us?
Well, you can find me in the club, ball for the he's
Look,
having
mummy, I
sex, not
got the
into making
eggs.
love.
It's making love.
Yeah.
Come give
I
me a
think
hug. Rest.
issues erupt.
And I will be definitely cutting that out, but rest assured, me and Lenny did figure it out.
Yeah, yeah. Thank God you're cutting that out.
Did you have any quiz and curry highlights at all, Lenny, from our time?
I think when we started dressing up, to be honest, I think that was probably the highlights for me. It's just how stupid we can make ourselves look in the bridge each week.
Yeah,
I think coming back after Christmas, first quiz back in like shirt and tie with Chris in his or Big Dog in his
yeah, the Big Dog
football.
Protection Service week.
That was perfect. The
Mm,
week we went to the beach,
that was good fun.
fantastic,
We did that
fantastic.
again this year, but one dickhead didn't turn up.
I'm sorry, I live in Leeds.
But yeah, we won that week as well when we so gutted you weren't there.
I know. I'm sad.
I think we made about £3 each that week.
Okay, I feel like you've single-handedly killed the quiz and curry
They just stopped advertising it, like especially over exams, people just stopped coming back.
because of you. You ruined it.
Hey, no, Big Dog was with me every step of the way, so he's
The
just
the real win for you would be if they stopped doing it after you left.
yeah, that is true. I mean, the Quizmasters just started to not be as good.
Yeah. Well, I mean you're chasing gold, aren't you, at this point?